What's good, everybody? In this video I will be talking about 5 players to avoid going into the 2023 fantasy football season. First on our list is somebody that for some reason still gets a lot of hype because of a monster season he had back in 2019, and that player is Michael Thomas. Right away, Michael Thomas has been very injury prone as of late, only playing in 10 regular season games in the last 3 years. I do believe Michael Thomas has talent left in the tank, but with New Orleans bringing in new talent at receivers such as Jarvis Landry and rising star Chris Olave, on top of bringing in Jamal Williams while already having Alvin Kamara, there isn't much room to operate for Thomas. Derek Carr is an upgrade over Andy Dalton, but something people forget is that when Michael Thomas broke the reception record in 2019 and had a fantastic fantasy season, he had Drew Brees throwing him the ball at an extreme rate. MT had the most targets in the league with 186, which is almost 12 a game, while being number 1 in target share and number 2 in target rate. A big factor as well was Michael Thomas being number 1 in the league in 2019 in red zone targets. Now with the touchdown machine and Jamal Williams, on top of all the talent New Orleans already has me putting Michael Thomas on my stay away list. Now at number 2, we have another receiver that has recently had a great season, but last season wasn't amazing. Next up, we have Deebo Samuel. In 2021, Deebo's rushing ability was incredible. A receiver getting 8 rushing tutties and 365 rushing yards is great, but the problem is now Christian McCaffrey is in town. McCaffrey is a huge part of the offense, if not the biggest. We haven't seen Deebo in a large sample size with either Purdy or Trey Lance, but in 2022, Deebo only averaged 10.5 points per game in the 3 full games with either Purdy or Lance. I do like Deebo on-field ability, but his injury history is also something to be worried about. And something else to worry about is the amount of weapons this 49ers team has. Purdy has the option to throw to Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo, or McCaffrey, while Deebo will have to fight for rushes over CMC and Elijah Mitchell. You can try and bite the bullet, but I would advise you to not draft off his big name unless you're ready to try to trade him. At number 3, I have a player that may be good in fantasy but is really getting overvalued. That player being the rookie Anthony Richardson. Richardson is being drafted at around QB 10 to QB 14, and in my eyes that is too high. In history, rookie QBs are not good in fantasy. Only 4 rookie quarterbacks have finished as a QB 12 in the last 10 years. Maybe in year 2 or 3 he can be elite, but with all the pressure of the Colts quarterback issues, I don't think a rookie QB can output a QB 10 type of season. Of course, Richardson is a freak of nature and may well be a Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton down the line, but as far as this year, Anthony Richardson is someone I want to be cautious of around the QB 10 to 13 range. At number 4, I have another receiver, the newly acquired star from Carolina, the Chicago Bear DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore's talent in the NFL, but for fantasy, I think you should stay away. Justin Fields is an explosive runner, but passing, he was not up to par of a great QB. Fields was 33rd in air yards per game with 189. He was 22nd in deep ball completion while only passing over 200 yards twice the entire season. I will say there isn't many options for Fields to throw to, but I also don't see Chicago being a good team next year or passing the ball that much even with Moore. And even with Darnell Wright, who they drafted this year, the Bears O-line is still below average. DJ Moore is good in real life, but in fantasy last season he was only wide receiver 24 while playing 16 games. Moore only having cleared 4 receiving tutties once in his time with the Panthers, and Chicago ranked 31st in wide receiver targets, making me avoid DJ Moore in fantasy drafts. Last at 5, we have Darren Waller. Waller used to be amazing in 2019 and 2020, having back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with the Raiders, but in the last 2 seasons, Waller has missed 14 total games with injuries. With Waller being 31 in September, the health risk is something to consider. But even with that out the way, Waller is joining a Giants team that has a league-low 44 passing touchdowns in the last 3 years, and with Saquon potentially holding out, there's even drama around this Giants team. Adding on the fact that the Giants have one of the hardest schedules due to them being in the NFC East, and in 2021, Evan Ingram played 15 games and had only 67 targets on the Giants, good enough for 20th in the NFL amongst tight ends. Waller is talented, but with injury concerns and the offense as a whole being a question mark with Saquon potentially holding out, I would advise to avoid drafting Waller high, if at all. And thank you guys for watching the video. It was pretty short, but I wanted to get some tips out there, and I hope you enjoyed, and peace.